Well, schools are wrapping up the year across Idaho. Depending on your district, you're either already out for summer or you're about to be. It's a break for the students, sure, but not so much for those in charge. That is a year-round gig. Superintendent of Public Instruction, Debbie Critchfield, took questions for an hour today explaining what work she does with the City Club of Boise. She detailed her stance on the last legislative session and, of course, the topic dominating her domain, none other than school choice and education savings accounts. Andrew Bartline talked to her after that event today, and she openly says she supports school choice, but I don't know how that she can't, because that's something that's been available in Idaho for a while, right?
Yeah, exactly. She says she supports school choice, but then these ESA come up, the education savings accounts. Well, she says they're not synonymous, Brian, so that's kind of the nuance here. The definition of school choice certainly matters, and who's defining it. Critchfield looks at regular public schools, our alternative schools, magnet schools, public charter schools, and homeschool. She says right there, Idaho has school choice, parents have options. The ESA program that we saw some legislation about last legislative session really got a lot of attention because it appeared to be synonymous with school choice. That was part of the messaging pushing these bills. Opponents of the program were concerned that it takes money away from public schools and pays for a student's private education tuition, while supporters of a proposed ESA program says it puts parents in complete control of their kids' education. But Critchfield says it's not so black and white.
These two issues have been conflated in a way that we think that the only way to accomplish school choice is to have an ESA or a voucher. Idaho is school choice. Parents can make any educational choices for their child. Education is not regulated in Idaho. Everything about it encourages choice. And so I hate for that to get lost in this discussion on public dollars going to private tuition. What makes sense for us? What kind of need is there? What are our parents really looking for? And then how do we do that in a way that doesn't damage our public schools?
Critchfield is not convinced Idaho's current choices are complete and perfect. She says she continues to learn more with time and hear about what parents and families want. And in regard to ESAs, Brian, she isn't sure that it's going away, I should say.
Right.
Next legislative session, she expects them to come back, and other school choice options potentially too. I mean, this is an ongoing discussion, and she thinks it's going to stay front of mind.
Well, there was one ESA bill that got a lot of attention and was talked about for quite some time. Then it went away, it failed, but there are others kind of in the works. So yeah, you can guarantee that they're going to be coming back to this with just some other formula or something.
And that Empowering Parents program too, we talked about this earlier, and Critchfield brought it up as well, that, you know, using that program to push money aside as well, instead of creating a whole new program, different ways to accomplish what people might want.
A whole new bucket to build out of that. All right, thank you very much, Andrew.